Other than ICQs and CCQs, questions can roughly be divided into two main categories that you've probably heard quite often, not just in education, but in very many realms of life. These are either closed questions or open questions. So closed questions can be answered either with yes, no, a single word, or a very short phrase. They have a very specific answer, and a lot of the time it funnels the students into thinking about just one thing or one thing only. There is a right or wrong answer. Open questions, on the other hand, can be answered with limited parameters, and they encourage free talk. A lot of the time, they don't have right or wrong answers because they're about opinions and feelings and general discussion about a subject. So let's take a look at some closed questions. So first up, closed questions tend to have a bit of a bad reputation. You've probably been told or have heard or feel that asking them is a little bit too basic, and guiding the student towards an answer like that can feel a bit cheap and not quite what you're looking for. But if they're used correctly and in tandem with open questions, then they can be extremely effective language elicitors, which is something that we're always trying to improve upon here at VIPX. We need to get those students talking. We need to get them comfortable in the classroom and practicing their language. That's what we're all about. So some reasons why closed questions can be effective is that they give you facts. They're easy to answer, they're quick to answer, and they keep control of the conversation with the questioner. That might seem good or bad depending on your stance and opinions, but in defense of closed questions, let's just take a look at that for a second. They give you facts. That means that you're able to check their comprehension on things. They're easy to answer. It can build the student confidence and be used as a platform or a basis, think of the bottom of that cake, to grow their skills and their learning. They're quick to answer. We don't have a lot of time in our classes, and we can't go over time to compensate for the fact that we're asking only open questions. So it makes it nice and rapid fire answering to make sure that the students are engaged with the lesson. And finally, keeping control of the conversation with the questioner might seem like that means, oh, you're talking about lots of teacher talk time. Actually, it's a really good way to guide the student and gear them towards a correct answer or a correct concept. So it's a really effective way for you to just make sure that the classroom is functioning as you plan in terms of time management and reaching learning objectives. So let's just take a look at some examples of closed questions now. And over here, we have a list of 7. So these tag questions, ask for agreement, linked statements, assumptive questions, leading questions, implication questions, and coercive questions. So going over each of these in a video would be a little bit tedious. So what I've done is I've made a wonderful PDF for you, and you can download that and use it as a resource. I highly recommend that you do read it closely. There's a definition of what it is. There are examples of what they are. There are examples of how to use it well in the classroom, as well as a note about the proper use of it in the classroom. So take a look at those, take your time, take notes if that's what you're keen to do, take screenshots, and I will join you back on the other side for open questions.